you use the word demographic, and that kind of is a good segue into another topic. This industry now has got highly concentrated in 4 or 5 cities in India. Clearly Bangalore, Hyderabad, NCR, Pune. There's a point now where these cities are becoming, to a point of capacity where it is a challenge. There's a lot of population, young population in India. What do you see as the importance of Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, and what could the GCCs do to kind of leverage that talent?
Yeah. So this, Subir, is a great opportunity, but it's also a very complex opportunity. And the reason I say complex is because if you look at the Tier 2, Tier 3 city demographic in the sense that we're talking about, you get a lot of foundational skills, foundational ops skills, foundational finance skills, in some cases core tech, foundational tech skills as well. But in the light of what we're talking of, where the GCCs are going today, those skills are not ready-made in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, right? And for that, you either have to go to some of these cities or many of these cities that you just mentioned. So the opportunity therefore lies in scaling up the talent, but that's also the complexity. And the best way to do it, and we've done it for many of our FS GCC clients, is to create a bridge between industry, academia, and the government. There has to be mobility incentives. There have to be courses in the universities that are actually teaching a lot of this stuff that we spoke about, Gen AI and digital nativeness and all of that. And many pragmatic ones are actually doing it both in Tier 1, Tier 2, and in some cases in Tier 3 cities as well. The third big challenge there is once the talent moves, how to create further opportunities for them to stay there, because the family roots are still pretty much in Tier 2, Tier 3. And there is always that inclination to go back, especially when we talk of hybrid and things like those. Getting them embedded into a Tier 1 way of living is also an aspect which is often overlooked because we're more focused on skills. For somebody who's never, let's say, worked and stayed in a city like Mumbai and comes from a Tier 3 city, it's a bit of a cultural shock to start with, right?
Yeah.
So making sure that, that stuff is also very nicely taken care of through a buddy program or through accommodations or through supports and things like those, they go a long way in making sure people stay with you longer. It's also an opportunity because you see far better retention rates in talent coming from a Tier 2 or Tier 3 because they're out there to prove a message not just for themselves but also for the rest of the community. So there's a huge amount of effort that goes in. There's a huge amount of commitment that goes in. So it's an opportunity, but it's also a complex one because it has to be bridged through industry, academia, and government coming together.
Yeah, no, I clearly see that, and this is not going to be that much of a. It's going to be a much tougher issue to resolve than some of the other topics that we've covered. But it is very critical because you are getting to a point where there is a lack of capacity in cities which have historically been dominant. So yeah, I think your point about the bridge between the 3 pillars is really relevant, and if that can work, then I think we would see a very different quantum of talent becoming available.